This show contains movie spoilers and swearing. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Bitesize Cinema. I'm your host RJ McCready, and for this episode I'm going to be taking you guys back to the year in 1998 to look at Bruce Willis's action, adventure, sci-fi, asteroid movie, and that is Armageddon. And joining me today for the show is my good buddy Kung Fu Dave. Dave, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Hello RJ, how you doing?
Not too bad, mate. I mean, I don't want to timestamp the evidence, but you know, with a little ease of lockdown, mate, I just went out, had a little spin in the old car, felt a little bit like John Wick, you know, with my leather jacket on, and treated myself to a anti-social distance cheeseburger with my car.
I think you sent me a picture of it, didn't you? It looked pretty tasty, to be honest. So.
Yeah, it's all right. That is a tasty cheeseburger. Do you mind if I wash this cheesy, tasty burger down with this beverage? Oh dear, that's another film we have to cover at some time as well. Is it Pulp Fiction?
Oh yeah, banging film.
Also stars Bruce Willis. But how about yourself, mate? How you doing? You
Yeah, I'm good. Well, obviously today is the day we can all go for a beer in the beer gardens of the pub, isn't it? So later on after today's recording, I'm going to be heading to the pub with some friends.
Nice. Go and treat yourself to a nice beer, mate. Yeah, it'd be lovely.
Yeah. I did wake up this morning and thought, oh god, it's snowing, isn't it? But it sort of seems to have brightened up a bit now. So
yeah, I was going to go out treasure hunting this morning for a little bit before the show, but I decided not to. I wimped out, mate. Looked out the window and I thought it just looks too cold, you know what I mean? So I just thought, go and make myself a nice cup of tea. And I thought, do a few bits around the house. And took the car out, like I say, a little bit of a cheeseburger before recording. And here we are now, talking about Armageddon.
Yeah, man. What a film, honestly.
Oh, man. So, talking about Armageddon, what we'll do, we'll jump into this. We'll get onto the space shuttle. Fly off to that asteroid, which is totally nuts. We'll play you a trailer, and we'll see you soon.
Little Richard, me and you, man. You know what I'm saying? We going to the top, baby. Big time. Somebody down 911!
What hit us?
Small asteroid fragments this morning. How big were those?
Those were nothing. The size of basketballs and Volkswagens.
This new one you're tracking, how big?
It's the size of Texas, Mr. President. It's what we call a global killer. The end of mankind.
Half the world will be incinerated by the heat blast, and the rest will freeze to death in nuclear winter. Basically the worst parts of the Bible.
Hitting a rock from the outside won't do the job.
So, we nuke this thing from the inside? How?
We drill. We're bringing the world's best deep core driller.
The United States government has just had
and a thing that has 200,000 moving parts built by the lowest bidder. Makes you feel good, doesn't it?
We're going.
Okay, gentlemen. You're warriors up there. You're already heroes. Just sit back and enjoy the ride.
The dreams of an entire planet are focused on the 14 brave souls traveling into the heavens.
Astronauts, welcome to space.
It's about time. I haven't thrown up in about an hour.
I'd start praying about right now.
Listen, this is a kick-ass ride.
Touchstone Pictures presents Bruce Willis, Billy Bob Thornton, Liv Tyler, Ben Affleck, Will Patton, and Steve Buscemi.
Just hold on! Show back for the other team! Matt, get in here! That is my father up there!
You don't have to worry about me and my team. We'll get the job done.
A Jerry Bruckheimer production, directed by Michael Bay.
And welcome back, guys. So the synopsis of this film is: after discovering that an asteroid the size of Texas is going to impact Earth in less than a month, NASA recruits a misfit team of deep core drillers to save the planet. It's an action-adventure sci-fi. It's a PG-13. It's got a 151-minute runtime. It's got a 6.7 on IMDb, and it was directed by Michael Bay, who likes lots of explosions and actions and all that sort of stuff. So, but Dave, Armageddon, mate, when did you first watch this movie?
You know what? I think it was probably in the year 2000. I think I watched it, and
right.
I think it was just one of the many videos that we had in our collection at home. But yeah, I mean, it was quite. There's a lot going on in this film, isn't there? Let's be honest. There's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And as a young man, or young boy then, it was crazy. Like, it's just absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
The amount of stuff that goes on. But yeah, it was. Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it back then, and I obviously watched it the other day to come on the show and talk to you, RJ, about it. So. And again, it's been a while since I've watched it, so yeah, absolutely blown away again. It's unreal.
Yeah, I think it's this is what happens when you got Michael Bay, who done the Transformers movies. Before that, he also did Bad Boys. He did The Rock, which is a favourite of mine, with Nicolas Cage and Sean Connery. Then he went on to go and do Pearl Harbor, but generally he is a guy who does love all the action and explosions. And you pretty much get your $10 worth, don't you, when you go to the cinema and watch a film of his.
Yeah.
You've also got Jerry Bruckheimer, and he's been involved in absolutely every movie you could imagine in the 90s and the 2000s. So Con Air, Gone in 60 Seconds, National Treasure, Pirates of the Caribbean, like I say, The Rock, Bad Boys. So he's teamed up with Michael Bay for this film, and this is kind of what happens, you get this sort of explosive type movie, which is, again, you can put the plot on a napkin as well, can't you? You can imagine that, Jerry Bruckheimer and Michael Bay were probably in an office somewhere in Hollywood, and they were like, maybe Jerry Bruckheimer was saying, "Hey, Mike, just wait there a second before you get in the lift." And then Mike's gone, "It's okay, just get in the lift with me." And he's like, "I've got a plot for a movie." And by the time he's got down onto the sort of next level, he's probably just giving him the plot, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Asteroid's going to destroy Earth, and I'm going to send a load of oil drillers up to go and destroy it. And he's just gone, "Yeah, okay, we'll make it." And that's it.
He was like, "Yeah, all right, mate, blah, 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 what's that about?"
Yeah.
Just talking about production team there. I mean, you mentioned Michael Bay and the other chap, but I did when I was going through the credits today. I saw J.J. Abrams' name on there.
Yes, yeah, that's a good shout. Mm-hmm.
Which I thought was a bit. I didn't know he had anything to do with this film, but obviously he's notable for the more recent Star Wars films, isn't he, and Star Trek.
Yeah.
And this was quite a while ago when this film was made. So he's obviously, I don't know, mate. I did see aspects of, Star Wars, sort of Star Trek-y themes going on in this film. And we'll get to the bottom of that later on in the show. But we'll talk about it a bit more later. But yeah, there's definitely aspects of the scenery while they're in space that you could see in in Abraham's Star Wars films. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think what it is with JJ, so it's 1998. So JJ Abrams had hit the platform for a TV show called Lost. And that was like phenomenal when that came out, and then that had his name stamped all over it. And then that put him onto the platform. And then, like you just said, he went on to go and do Star Trek. And then he did another film called Cloverfield, which is a bit like a sort of Godzilla type movie, isn't it? Like found footage. And then all of a sudden, I think JJ Abrams become this guy who kind of had like a bit of a plot twist in his movies as well before he did Star Trek. So with Cloverfield, it was like, you know, all he did was release the poster, and that was it. And you didn't know anything else apart from that movie. And then when you watched it, it kind of had like it found footage, which was kind of new then with Blair Witch and all that sort of stuff. A little bit of a segue for JJ, but he's certainly definitely worth a mention. So it's kind of interesting, like you said, it's interesting how you get films like Armageddon and you think about Michael Bay, but then when you really look into it, you start seeing names like JJ and you think, oh, he's attached to this film. And then these guys who are just doing a couple of little screenplays here and there suddenly get their big break and become the next big director.
Yeah.
So it's kind of almost like, you know, if you are just that guy who's doing a couple of scripts, just wait your turn, because eventually, I think that, and that's quite, I'm glad you brought this up, because that's quite a common theme in Hollywood. You only get really a limited time as a director or actor, I find. You get this sort of 15 minutes of fame, and then someone else comes along, and, you know, so...
I think, I mean, I've got a few friends that work in the...
Yeah, you were saying, yeah.
You'd be interested. I've got a friend that is a director, but my other half is a TV producer as well. So she doesn't work on films that we talk about, but you know, if they make mistakes and make things that are bad, then your name's sort of tarnished, isn't it? So
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
you've got to make something good. I mean, my friend James Nunn, he's a director. He made he's worked on a number of films, but he was telling me the other day, actually, he's saying, look, he was offered, he's made 2 films this year. I won't go into what they're called because, they're yet to be released, but he was saying to me, if he was offered to make another film towards the end of this year, and he read the script and said, oh, I don't like it. And he was saying, look, if I went and made this film for the money, great, I'd have some money, but it would, it might dampen my my career. So it's just sort of understandable, isn't it?
Yeah, I totally respect. Yeah, totally respect that. Yeah, it's to make, and I think that's like the big bugbear today, certainly for fans, is we don't necessarily care about how much money that film's made. It's all about, is it a good film? That's at the end of the day, that's the important thing for the fans. I know the producers and that need to make the money and whatever, or distributors, but the most important thing is this a film actually any good? So yeah, I totally get that. But yeah, a little shout out to James Nunn, isn't it? I'm gonna try and get him onto the show.
I'll have a chat with him. Yeah,
because he worked on was it 47 Meters Down, the shark movie?
Yeah, he made that. He was the second assistant director on that, I think.
Yeah, that'd be good to have a chat to him about that, because there's an awful lot of shark movies about, and obviously a little shout out to my good buddy Dan Bone. He's probably watched most of those. I actually thought 47 Meters Down was a little bit of a standout in a genre that's kind of been saturated, but it's not a bad film. It's quite a good movie. It's quite suspenseful. You're sort of on the edge of your seat and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's a good story to it as well. And obviously the second one that came out on Netflix, which is 47 Meters Down, Uncaged, I think.
Yeah, that's it, Uncaged. And doesn't star Nicolas Cage, does it?
It'd be interesting if it did.
Yeah. Oh, God, yeah. Nicolas Cage looking like some sort of surfer dude on a boat.
he's played every other character, hasn't he? So
he's played pretty much, yeah. I can just see him do that, you know. I'll catch you, that shark. Oh dear, I'm gonna go and save the fucking day. Right, Nick Cage. Can you imagine Nick Cage in Armageddon as well? Yeah.
Oh my word, yeah, blimey.
Instead of it being Bruce Willis, you just have to say. I think you just have to go with Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage, going up to blow up an asteroid. Oh dear. But talking about the cast in this film, it's pretty good. You've got a very young Ben Affleck in here. Liv Tyler, which also has a connection with the song that's in this movie. Obviously, I don't want to miss a thing. Mm-hmm. Bruce Willis is really good in this film as well, I think. You know, it's quite a good movie for him. Owen Wilson, Michael Clarke Duncan. So yeah, it's certainly like a sort of popcorn type movie. And the other thing I was going to mention here with this film is that I actually like the first half rather than the last half. So I love the build up to the point where you know there's an asteroid that's going to blow up the Earth, but then you've got to try and get everybody together. And everybody's trying to work out how they're going to sort of blow it up. And then you've got the banter between the oil drillers and that, you know, and they're very sort of chilled and laid back, aren't they? You know, sort of Harry Stamper, you know. Yeah, you know, it's like I've never given up yet. I'll never let you down, you know, that sort of stuff.
It's all it's like getting the peasants involved, isn't it? With you know, some serious secret work. It's like, you know, I remember in the film itself, obviously starts with. It's sort of asteroids coming down to Earth, isn't it? And New York, and obviously found out there's this big asteroid going to hit the Earth and kill everyone. And then it goes to the oil rig, doesn't it? And you've got Ben Affleck obviously having it off with Harry Stamper's daughter. Yeah. And he's running around the oil rig trying to shoot him, and you just think, blimey, you know, he's sending these guys into space to try and save the world.
This is it. Like Harry Stamper, he's playing a little bit of golf, isn't he, on the old oil rig, isn't he? You know, just sort of like you do. And helicopters come flying over, don't they? And like I say, he's trying to shoot Ben Affleck, and he for sleeping with his daughter and all that sort of stuff, innit? You know, and then you got Steve Buscemi. He was great in this film. He's just like he's an intelligent bloke, but he's also a little bit unhinged at the same time, isn't he? You know.
He likes hookers and drugs.
That's it. Yeah.
And then on the flip side, he's really clever, isn't he?
Yeah, very clever. He's what is he? He's like a geologist, isn't he? And the funny thing is, the way it was sold to him as a you know, an actor, he saw it on paper as a heroic geologist, and I think he thought this was a serious role. When he saw asteroids, he thought he was going to play the hero type thing, and he thought, you know, I've played, because before this he was in Con Air playing like a psychopath, and he was in Reservoir Dogs, you know. And he thought, I'll just have a little bit of a change, you know, I'll play a hero. Yeah. And then they've sort of gone, and I think the writers have gone, because it's Steve Buscemi, he's played let's turn this character into a bit of a unhinged, you know, wants to sleep with hookers and gambles and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, he can't get away with it.
It's going to haunt him, innit? Well, for his career.
Yeah. But like I say, that's what I like about all the characters. The way this film's set up, I think it's probably one of my draws, is that I just think itself is kind of cool to think that there's an asteroid coming to Earth, and then there's a load of oil drillers that are going to go up and blow it up. And now I've got I've got a lot of American friends through podcasting and listeners, and hello guys, if you're listening to this, and I don't mean anything by this, but I generally think this is the American way to deal with shit. Do you know what I mean? We got a problem. We got a fucking asteroid coming down. Let's nuke that bastard. Do you know what I mean? If it was in England, we'd be the guys, we'd be the dude with the sails, wouldn't we? Oh, we'd try and sort of get some sails up there and try and get it to float away.
Yeah, we would, yeah.
The Americans, let's go nuke this fucker.
Let's be heroes.
Yeah. And the other thing is, it's typical, and it's great, it works, but there's like the scenes when they're walking towards the shuttle, isn't it? And you've got like some FA-18 jets flying over. Got a load of soldiers running around with guns. I mean, you know what I mean? It's like, guys are going out into space, but we just get a load of soldiers running about with guns and parading, and we get some like helicopters flying over and FA-18s and all that sort of stuff, They should have had Aerosmith there as well, shouldn't they, on stage, just playing a few tunes while they're getting on the show.
Yeah, it would be great, wouldn't it? I mean, add to the Americanization of what's going on.
Yeah, but like I say, the guys, my American friends through podcasts, I think they'll totally get that as well. Because I know we'll be having this conversation if they're on the show as well. So, yeah, this is it. You've also got Billy Bob Thornton in this movie, who plays NASA executive, didn't he, like Truman? And, I thought he was pretty good in this movie as well. Something different for him. He's basically the guy who is trying to explain what's going on in this crazy movie, shall we say? Do you know what I mean? Everybody else is kind of like I say, you got Owen Wilson running around in his horse, Michael Clark Duncan stripping off, and then Will Patton sort of like, let's stick that thing up my arse. But then you got sort of Billy Bob Thornton is just kind of trying to sort of level things out a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah. God, it's crazy, isn't it? I think I remember there's obviously because Billy Bob Thornton's character's got all these guys together, hasn't he? He's had the idea that we need to drill a hole into this asteroid and put a load of nukes in there to save the world. And who's best to do it than oil drillers? And then obviously he's put this idea to the higher authorities, and they've been like, "Oh, fine, go ahead with it." And let's do that. And then I remember this bit. It really made me laugh. It was, I mean, I don't know if the language is probably appropriate in this day and age, but what does he say? There's that Air Force commander, isn't there? And I think Bruce Willis is like, "Look, we'll do this, but we don't want to pay like tax, or we want all our criminal convictions overturned." And
oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it's great. He says Rockhound wants 8-track tapes to come back.
Yeah.
It's like, and he says he wants the luxury seat and he's trying to say, the White Horse like that, and he's gone the White House. Luxury suite at the White House like that with the president.
The White House for 15 days.
That's it, yeah. And it's little bits like that just make this film magic, really, isn't it? It's just great. But yeah, I think I'll be going for that as well. I think I'll probably be going for a lot more than that, actually. When I come back and save the world, yeah.
But, well, you can't really deny it, can you? I suppose.
Nah, that's it. I think you'd be looked after.
Definitely, yeah. You'd be more than millionaires, wouldn't you?
Yeah. But there was now NASA actually treat this movie as a training exercise as well, and I think we had this conversation the other day, didn't we, talking about this movie? And they've picked up on 168 errors, and I'm sure they have, saying that you can do this, you can do that. And then Ben Affleck came out and made the important point, I think, on set, saying, why we got to send all drillers up? Why can't we just teach the astronauts how to sort of plunge a hole into it? And I think Michael Bay's gone, Ben, just go away. It's all right. Don't bring thoughts like that onto the set, mate. Well, Michael Bay has probably gone to Ben Affleck, said, mate, honestly, do not bring any logic onto this film. This film is absolutely batshit crazy. Don't even try to stop. Is that what he said? No, but I could just imagine him saying, Ben, please don't try to bring any sort of logic onto this film, because it ain't like that.
It had to be like
this. Oh dear. But, so yeah, the other thing I like is when they get into space as well, is that they meet the Russian astronaut, and as if this film doesn't need any more comic relief, basically, isn't it? And he is great, isn't it? Because he's like, I think he's there looking at all these controls, isn't he, in the space station, and he says to Owen Wilson and Ben Affleck, and Ben goes, well, what's that? And he says, oh, it's just the device that we got hovering over America with all the nukes. I'm just here waiting to press the button. And like Ben Affleck, they're like, oh, right, okay. Oh, no, Steve Buscemi, and he's talking. He goes, oh, okay. Oh dear, it's
because they've been put in this sort of world that they've never, and they probably never would have dreamed of experiencing, would they? These sort of oil riggers.
No, is it? No.
But it's funny you say that, because like they're all very skilled at what they do. Because I remember there's that scene where they're all like, yeah, well, they all sit in the boardroom at the NASA, and they're all like, yeah, we'll do it. And then it's almost like the A team, aren't they? Because they've got like, they're all getting involved. They need to modify the drill to make it better, and they all know their jobs. And you've got Bruce Willis, who's like leading the group, and you've got the young sort of whippersnapper Ben Affleck, haven't you? And they all know what they're doing. They're all up for it, and they're just all sort of unsavoury bunch of characters, but you got to love them, haven't you? Got to trust them and love them.
Yeah, I think, like I say, the A team's probably a good way to describe it, because they, like I say, all got different skills, haven't they? And there's a bit where Harry finds out that these plans for this drill have actually been taken by NASA, and he didn't know about it. Because he turns up and it's like, and they go, what do you think of this drill? He goes, yeah, it's pretty cool considering I designed it. And this is, I picked up on this the other day, so I mentioned it to you. He actually says, because Jason Isaacs is in this film, he's very good, Jason Isaacs, as an actor. And Bruce Willis goes, yeah, well, it's not all cams and techniques and stuff like that, Mr. Wizard. Doesn't he? And obviously Jason Isaacs goes on to play Lucius Malfoy in Harry Potter, but this is all pre-Harry Potter, so it's just interesting that he came out and said that, which is cool.
Armageddon predicted that Jason Isaacs would be in Harry Potter.
Yeah. Gonna be a wizard when you get older, Jason. Yeah, so just need Hagrid to turn up now, don't you? Yeah. On a motorbike. So I've just sorted out that asteroid for you.
Flew into space.
Yeah, I'll take care of that.
Magic wand.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So on his motorcycle. But saying that, the type of movie that you got here, if that happens, I wouldn't be surprised. It's that crazy, a movie. So then you've got, like I say, the part of the movie where it's all kind of like leading up to it is probably my favourite bit. And even Michael Bay said that he felt like he just rushed the ending a little bit. Because when they actually get into space, it is really sort of like, oh my God, it's like some of them was it Steve Buscemi starts suffering with a bit of space dementia, doesn't he? He starts going a bit crazy. he gets onto like some sort of machine gun in space and he's trying to shoot the asteroid.
Shooting everything.
Yeah. Hey, look at this! You know, I've got a machine gun. You know, let's shoot it.
So stupid, isn't it? I mean, and then they obviously start doing it, don't they, in space? But like you said, the sort of scenes in space were, relatively quick, weren't they? I mean, they get into space, they go to the Russian space station. This is where it starts getting a bit crazy because they start fueling up the spaceships, don't they? And then all of a sudden, the Russian space station starts to blow up.
Yeah. And
then AJ, or is it AJ? Yeah, Ben Affleck stuck on the Russian space station, and they all sort of escape, and then he's still stuck on there, and he manages to jump on the. I think he was on the. There's two spaceships.
So you got the Independence. I think he gets onto the Independence. I think, or is it the Freedom?
I think he was on the Independence, wasn't he?
That's it.
And then they get away from the blowing up space station. Slingshot around the moon, don't they?
Yeah.
And then they've got to experience is it 9 Gs or 8 point something Gs for 10 minutes or something?
Yeah.
Would kill you, I think.
I think that's where again Steve Buscemi comes out and says, "Hey, I saw the one with the coyote in the Roadrunner, isn't it? Where he gets spring catapulted." He goes, I saw that, and it didn't work out too well for the coyote. It's a pretty good way to explain this, But yeah, they go around the moon, don't they, and get catapulted onto the asteroid. So, it's pretty mental, really.
Yeah, and then Ben, obviously, they're going through that sort of debris, aren't they? The space rock that's behind the asteroid, and then I don't know if any of the listeners haven't seen this. I mean, I hope you have seen this because it's quite an old film now. But warning if there's any spoilers. No spoiler people that hate spoilers. But I'll tell you what happens. So they go on the asteroid and then they're trying to, get through all this debris. And then I think it's either the Independence or the Freedom. I can't remember. But they get hit by all this debris and one of the spaceships crash lands onto the asteroid, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's the one Ben Affleck's on, isn't it? And everyone thinks, oh God, here we go again. He's died.
Yeah, he's died. Yeah,
he's dead. But for someone that hasn't seen that film and you're watching that scene, there's not really a great deal of emotion coming from Bruce Willis to say that his, future son-in-law has just died. So it kind of leads you to believe that he's not dead.
Yeah.
So the other team land their spacecraft, don't they, and start the operation, and start drilling the holes, don't they? And they're sort of left on their own to do it because they think the spacecraft and the crew have died. But I just thought that was a bit funny because, and then you realise that they have. Well, it's Ben Affleck. Big bloke, what's his name?
Michael Clark Duncan, isn't it? Rockhounds. Yeah. So I think it's them two and the Russian guy, isn't it? The Russian astronaut.
Yeah, they survived, don't they? It was Owen Wilson died in this one, doesn't he?
So Owen Wilson dies along with some other astronauts, which you don't really see, isn't it? Like the extra sort of backup crew from NASA. But then you get this scene now, don't you? They get into is it like an armadillo truck with the drill rig, isn't it, and all that? And he says, we should be able to drive to their location. I think they've got like a GPS or something like that. And there's a funny bit, isn't it, where he says to the Russian, he says, have you ever seen, he goes, have you heard of Evel Knievel? And then the Russian goes, I never saw Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
It's little things like that, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Oh, it's just classic. And they basically...
they make another Star Wars reference, don't they? Because they're decided on... This is earlier on in the film, before these scenes, but they're deciding on what characters they're going to be. I think Owen Wilson and Ben Affleck are like, well, I want to be Han Solo, and no, I'm Han Solo, and Ben Affleck says, no, you're Chewbacca.
And Owen Wilson goes, have you ever seen Star Wars? Yeah. And like I say again, Owen Wilson has his part to play in this as well, doesn't he, earlier on, because he's at the board table and he's like talking to the national officials. He goes, let me get this straight. Just tell me what this place is going to be like. And he just says, just tell me it's the scariest place in the world, scariest place you could ever imagine. Like that. He's gone. Oh dear.
I mean, it did look horrible, didn't it? Sort of razor sharp rocks everywhere and bits of ice sticking up, and really like nasty terrain to be on.
It was like you say, it was like ice, but at the same time, it just looked like a scrap metal yard, didn't it? That had loads of spikes coming out of it and stuff, which I think, because there's no point in us getting scientific about this, is there, really, this movie? Because as soon as you do that, you totally come away from it, don't you? But I mean, for you to actually be able to land on the actual core of that asteroid would be a miracle itself, wouldn't it? With all that debris and stuff. I mean, I'm not a pilot or anything like that, but I'm sure a pilot a little bit of debris in the air as a pilot would probably be an absolute nightmare, wouldn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So to have all of that floating around. But the thing is, as I said before, so you can't start thinking like that with this film. You just it's going to take you into a world of hurt, isn't it?
You go mad, won't you?
Yeah. So, and I think that's the thing with Armageddon. I think it's one of those films where I think you hear it did get mixed critic reviews at the time. I understand that, but I think you just got to go, this is a fantasy film, next to, the other thing is this could happen with an asteroid, which is kind of scary. So it kind of takes away that fantasy element, because we know that this could actually happen, because we do have asteroids that come to Earth and we have close calls and all this sort of stuff. But at the same time, after watching this film, I think that it could be plausible that NASA probably have some contingency plan now to try and deal with it this way, possibly. Yeah. So, as much as it is a crazy movie, it's kind of plausible in the same way, I guess. So,
send a load of oil drillers to space.
Yeah, but like I say, I remember it. I always go back to that, because I remember when this film came out at the cinema, and I never actually went to go and see it at the cinema. I was gutted. Every time I tried to go and see it, I couldn't, because something else came up. But I was so intrigued by it, because I thought that's such an interesting concept for a movie, to actually have guys on an oil rig go and blow up an asteroid. I just really liked it. I just thought it was cool.
I think the whole concept it comes down to the method of how they're going to destroy it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And those people were best suited for the role. But yeah, it's an exaggeration of what NASA probably would do, to an extreme exaggeration, to combat an asteroid coming to Earth.
Yeah, exactly. And then of course you've got and I think this would possibly happen as well, because you get like NASA loses contact, don't they? And then they've got like their own contingency plan, which they don't know about, and that is obviously to detonate the nuke from Earth. And that one of the actors here is actually a guy called Keith David. He's great. He was in The Thing, and he plays like the army intelligence officer or something like that, and he's basically in command of this. He's like, we're gonna blow this up. We've got to detonate it now. And then obviously that causes a lot of commotion, doesn't it, up in space, because now you've got like a film where, is it the red wire or the blue wire? We're going to cut this and all this sort of stuff.
And they've got like 2-3 seconds to decide, haven't they?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's gone down to 2 seconds, and then it's gone back to 10, and then it's gone back to 30, and then it's close to 2, just about as it's about to cut it, you know. So, so yeah, you got stuff like that, and then obviously they've got now the decision that, you know, they've managed to drill the, was it 850 feet or something like that into the ground. The detonator's gone, isn't it? They can't detonate the nuke, so they have to like draw straws, and AJ gets a short straw, doesn't he? And then I think this is where you get a little bit of the emotion come out now, don't you, between Bruce and AJ, isn't it? So he basically does the last good thing, doesn't he? Where he says, you know, you make me damn proud to be your, you know, son-in-law and go and marry my daughter and all that sort of stuff, innit? You know.
Oh yeah, because he like goes down with him, doesn't he? Because AJ draws the short straw to go and stay on the asteroid while they've got all the guys escape.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "Oh, I'll come with you, mate. I'll come with you." And he goes down the lift, and then he pull his oxygen pipe out, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He pulls that out.
Pushes him back in the lift.
Yeah. It's and then he gives him his mission badge, doesn't he? He says, "Give that to Truman," because he promised him that he'd, you know, never give up on him, and you can have my mission badge, because Truman wanted to go up into space, didn't he? But he could never do that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but Billy Bob
Farnham. Yeah, that's it. And so now AJ finds out that he really does love him, doesn't he, Bruce Willis? And it's just, you know, he's just been messing about with him all this time, hasn't he? You know. And then you've got that scene now, which is, I suppose it's, I haven't mentioned this yet already, but I kind of like the love story in this film, and I think that kind of works. It's quite good to have that. And then you've also got like Liv Tyler with her dad, which I kind of get, being a dad myself. And funny enough, we mentioned this the other day, didn't we? Because when we was talking about this, I actually said that I am actually Bruce Willis's age now in real life in this movie.
Oh yeah, and then
You're the same age as AJ, aren't you?
Yeah.
It's like... Oh well, that's kind of weird, you know.
You're gonna chase me around the house with a shotgun, are you?
Well, this is it, and I've even got a little bit of just grey hair on the side of me, like Bruce has in that movie. Do you know what I mean? You know.
I mean, to be honest, Bruce Willis doesn't look much different now to what he did back in 1998, does he?
Yeah, I think he's aged a little bit, but no, he's still got the same sort of charm, hasn't he? You know.
Yeah, I think so.
Because it's like, I think Bruce Willis has always been kind of like John McClane. You know, he's kind of got that sort of swagger about him, isn't he? You know, I think after he did Die Hard, he's been John McClane in most of the roles that he's done. And,
it's difficult to escape that kind of character, isn't it?
Yeah, but you know, in some ways, I think
of that world, isn't he?
It's probably not a bad character to not escape from, because he's a cool character. And I think most of the audience, when they go into a movie, they kind of think, well, Bruce Willis is in this film, so he's probably going to be a little bit like John McClane in this. So yeah, I don't really have a problem with that at all, you know.
And lo and behold, he was.
Because I was watching this with my missus the other night, and obviously before this, and she came out and said the same thing. And I said, what is it? Because obviously we're getting up to the bit now where he says, you know, I think it's Bruce comes out, let's blow this thing, you know. Sort of thing, you know.
No messing around.
Even Becky said, damn, she actually said to me, she goes, you know what? I think that everybody would actually just be bought into the fact if Bruce Willis just came out and went, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, bang, and it just fucking blew the fucking thing up. I wouldn't have a problem with that at all. Oh, absolutely not. I don't think anybody else would. People would probably go, yeah, I love that. I love the way they just tied that in. Oh dear. So yeah, but near the end. Well, coming to the end of this film, it is really, I like the way they blow it up. It does exactly what they think it's going to do. Then they splits in half, misses the Earth, and then you got the freedom. It's just like, they get into that shuttle like I did in my car this morning. Do you know what I mean? After I had that burger, you know, it's like when because I went to my sort of B&Q car park burger van this morning, and it's just like, you know, yeah, have my burger, done what I've done, get in my car, start it up, go home and do a podcast, you know, and that's how they do in the shuttle, isn't it? You know. Sit back down to earth.
It made me laugh a bit. I mean, obviously we're talking about like science and stuff like that, but yeah, they just fly off the asteroid and it blows up, and then they just sort of go back to Earth and land like a plane, like a normal plane lands. get off the plane, and they're like, "Oh, hello."
Just gonna change into my orange astronaut suit because that looks cool for me to walk out.
It's funny you say this because like it was very clean, wasn't it? They were all very clean when they came down. And I watched this with my missus last night, and she said, "Oh, they've all got very white teeth, haven't they?"
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it,
really white teeth.
Yeah.
So that have been, you know, up in space, and
yeah.
I don't know how space affects your teeth, but they just didn't look very dirty.
No. It's all like,
I just had a shower.
It's like a fucking aftershave advert, wasn't it? You know?
It was.
Armageddon, new fragrance from men.
Sponsored by Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of what it looks like, doesn't it? You know, sort of just. Yeah, it's a crazy movie, and then on top of that, you've then got the Aerosmith "I Don't Want to Miss a Thing" song, which is pretty cool. I kind of liked it when it came out. Still do now. I think it goes well. Every time I hear the song, I think of this movie.
I think most people do, don't they? I think that's everyone thinks of the song from Armageddon, and you know, it's Aerosmith.
It's quite a sort of uplifting song, I think. You know, cause it's sort of kind of different to what they usually do, but it's good to see him tied up with a movie. So that is Armageddon. Crazy.
Bonkers.
Oh dear. Is there anything more you want to add to this movie, Dave? We covered everything, mate.
I think we have, but I just want to ask you what we give it out of 10, and and actually, before we do that, I just want to make an honourable point about this film. And what was it? Deep Impact. That other asteroid film
came out at exactly the same time. Yeah, I'm glad you.
The same year, wasn't it? Yeah,
same year. It's funny. Yeah, it's worth bringing up because we don't have an asteroid movie for like ages. And I'll be honest with you, if anybody can try and correct me on this, but I don't think we had an asteroid movie for a long time. The one that springs to mind for me was a Sean Connery one called Meteor that came out in the 70s, which is quite a good film. But yeah, we don't have an asteroid movie and then two come out, and then we've got Armageddon and Deep Impact, and they kind of do the same thing, except I think in Deep Impact they get on straight away to try and blow it up, but it all goes wrong. And then I think it's about Frodo, isn't it, trying to get into his like
very young Elijah,
you know, trying to find Gandalf and get into some sort of underground cave or something, you know.
Yeah, he's trying to get into that girl's knickers as well, isn't he?
Oh, there you go, Dave. That's obviously a memorable point for you.
And they get given a baby by their mum and dad.
Oh my god! Oh right, okay.
Let's skip the middle bit.
Yeah, that's it.
But no, what was I saying? That film, The only difference, I mean, it did confuse me when they came out and when I watched them, because I always used to get a bit confused by the two of them.
Yeah.
Because don't they, in Deep Impact, they blow up the asteroid, but doesn't it split into two, and then another bit, a chunk of it is still heading to Earth, and then the crew have to sort of sacrifice themselves, don't they, below this?
Yeah, that's right. You've got Robert Duvall. And I think they do it in a more sort of scientific type of way in that movie, don't they? Because they're just wearing proper like astronaut suits, aren't they? And everything looks a little bit more sort of NASA-fied, if that makes sense. As in Armageddon, they've got more fantasy type futuristic suits on, haven't they? So yeah, it's bizarre though how they brought out two movies at the same time. You think you might wait, but I don't know. I suppose everybody went asteroid crazy in the 90s with this. So, the other thing is as well to mention is so Theory of Mind. So you've got films like Con Air and The Rock. Then obviously Armageddon, all produced. Well, Jerry Bruckheimer's got the tie with his movies, but the president from The Rock is the president in this movie as well. So, is it all happening in the same universe?
That's the thing, isn't it? Yeah, that's a bit strange. So
is, The Rock... Oh, The Rock and Armageddon, I think. A little bit of a similarity there. But, so I don't know whether they're part of the sort of Jerry Bruckheimer multiverse or whatever. So just
a bit like the MCU, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because when I went to go and watch these films in the 90s, they kind of had the same sort of thing about them. Music, I think it was like the same composer, obviously same producers and all that, so they kind of had that same sort of aesthetic about it. So just excuse me, blimey. Oh, dear. Oh. Yeah, a little bit of food for thought there. So, but yeah, that's it. But no, what would I give this? I'll probably give it a 7. 7 space shuttles out of 10 or whatever.
I think I'd give it a 7 as well. I do prefer it over. I prefer it over Deep Impact. I think it's gets you. I mean, for the first time, when you watch it for the first time, it gets you on the edge of your seat, doesn't it? It's like one of them kind of things. Oh God, what's going to happen next? It goes from good to bad to good to bad to good to bad, doesn't it? You think, blimey. So yeah, it is exciting. It's an exciting film. Really worth a watch. If any listeners haven't seen it, we're probably giving you most of the context of the story, but it's great. So definitely 7 out of 10.
Sunday afternoon movie. If there's something else to watch and you just fancy a bit of escapism, and don't take it seriously at all. And,
hopefully it'll never happen to us. But
what
would you do if there's an asteroid coming to work? Anyway, RJ, what would you do? That's the question I was going to ask.
What would I do? Probably just find the nearest pub and go and get drunk or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Honestly, mate, I think we'd be screwed, wouldn't we, really? I don't think there's much we could do, especially if it was a asteroid the size of Texas that's about to hit us. So,
you just have to go try and make the most of what you've got. And it's a bit morbid, isn't it? But try and enjoy yourself for the last few days or whatever it is. But.
Oh, this is it. I mean, I no doubt you'll probably try and do the same thing, Dave, would you? A bit like what you're going to do this afternoon, try and find a pub and drink some beer.
Yeah. In the words of Simon Pegg from Shaun of the Dead, I'd go down the Winchester and wait for it all to blow over.
Oh, yeah, this is it. Yeah, so you mean, go and save your girlfriend, go and get your mum, go and get your best mate, and we'll go down to Winchester and wait for it all to blow over, like you're saying. You just sort of, you got your beer in there. Yep, there you go. End of the world down the Winchester pub. Oh dear, yeah. I think that's all you could do, mate. To be honest with you, so I'll probably get one more day of metal detecting in, Dave.
Well, you probably find £1 billion worth.
Mate, you fucking know it,
RJ, wouldn't you? But oh God, I can't spend it.
You know what? I get that sort of double tone beep, and it'd be like say a load of gold, and I'd be like, yeah, and then boom, the old asteroids come down. That's it, boom, that's it. That'd be just more luck, yeah, absolutely. Oh man, so yeah, this is where Armageddon takes you, mate. Takes you into that sort of crazy place. Oh dear. So there you go, guys. A bit of food for thought for you. What would you do if it was going to come and land on Earth? God forbid. Oh dear. Well, there you go, mate. Well, thanks for coming onto the show today, Dave. For that, it's been a bit of fun. Like I say, we haven't sort of gone over it, sort of scene by scene or anything like that. But me and Dave have spoken about this movie like you would do, as if we were just sat on a train going somewhere, and we'd say, "Hey, did you watch that film Armageddon the other day?" And we'd just go, "Yeah, remember this bit." So that's kind of how we tackled this movie, and brought up some fun points and crazy points and quotes and all that sort of stuff. So, and like I say, if you haven't seen the film, go and watch it, go and check it out. So what do you want to do next then, Dave? What's on the cards next? What do we say we're going to do?
Was it Gladiator?
Oh yeah, Gladiator, that's right. Yeah,
it's
I think we need
Gladiator,
to have a look
wasn't
at
it?
that, don't we? Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I need to talk about that. Was it?
I mean, you've got
Maximus?
your 100 episode coming up soon, haven't you?
I have, yeah, literally after this one. So this is episode 99. So I'm going to be doing Jaws for my 100th episode, because
Wow.
I need to talk about that film. It's a classic, one of the first blockbusters. So
I think that's a really good film to do for your 100.
Yeah, I think so,
yeah,
mate. I
brilliant.
think I don't really know anybody that doesn't like that film, and scared the hell out of me. Up until this day, I'm always a little bit curious about going into the sea after watching that film. Although it hasn't affected my son. He's nothing seems to scare him. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if it's just the way I brought him up, but I introduced him to Jaws, and I was kind of like, do I introduce him to it or not? Because I don't want him to be scared like I am going into water. And he watched it, and I said, "Did you enjoy it?" He went, "Yeah, really enjoyed it, Dad." I said, "What do you think of the shark?" And I said, and he goes, "Yeah, shark looks a bit rubbery, Dad." I was like, is that it? Yeah, he goes, "Yeah, that's it." I was like, "Oh, right, okay." Wasn't fazed by it at all.
I think sort of CGI has come on a long way since then, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has done. Yeah, and so have shark movies as well, isn't it? I mean, it's got to the point now where it's got really ridiculous, isn't it? With some of these films, like I'll say again, another shout out to Dan Bone, because he's always watching these movies. I think he was watching one called Sofa Shark or something like that the other day, or House Shark or something. Megalodon or Octo Shark or something like that.
Jason Statham, isn't it? The Meg.
The Meg.
That's the one, isn't it?
Although I think, as I said, there are in between all that, there are some decent ones that come out. I think Meg was a half decent one actually, with Jason Statham. I think that was quite good. And also 47 Meters Down with James's, your film director friend.
Yeah,
I thought that was quite really good. I thought that was quite a good instalment with that. But yeah, there are some crazy shark movies. But are you entertained by them? Yeah. Certainly with a year that we've just had in 2020, I just sort of changed my mind a bit. Come on, go, because I know I've said this. I think I said this before on one of the episodes. I think after 2020, those films that you went to see at the cinema and you come away and thought, "Oh my God, that was crazy." Just wondering whether we'd be feeling like that now after 2020. You just think, might give this a break because that's entertained me in some ways. So films like that might just get away with it a little bit more now. Do you know what I mean? So we'll see. Yeah, but anyway, Dave, listen, I'll let you get down to the pub now, so I'm sure you want to go and get that beer, mate.
Oh, I can't wait. RJ.
Dear.
It's been ages.
Yeah. All right, mate.
Ages.
Well,
I'll come back very drunk probably later tonight. So,
I'm sure you will. Yeah. Oh, some atrocious state, I'm sure. Right. Okay. All right, guys. Well, hope you enjoyed that episode, that crazy movie. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. If you have seen it, well, let us know. Put some comments on the page, and I'll get into that now. A little bit of lost my thread there.
Take two.
Take two. A little bit of action. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, hang on a second. I've forgotten what I was going to say. A little bit of admin for the show. I am a proud member of the Legion Podcast Network, so please go and check out all the other shows on there, including my other show, the Mystery Vault Podcast, where I talk about the unexplained and strange stuff. And you can find Bitesize Cinema on Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, and several other players. If you put in Bitesize Cinema Podcast Legion into Google. I've got a Facebook page where I'm most active, so put any comments on there, any other sort of suggestions for movies that you want me to cover. So yeah, that's it, guys. As always, keep it bite-sized, keep it safe.
If you enjoyed this show, then make sure you check out the other great shows on the Legion Podcast Network, like Cinema Psyops, Cinema Beef, Devour the Podcast, Duncan and Bo Come Correct, Exploding Heads Horror Movie Podcast, Friday the 13th, Get Slayed, The Helming Power Hour, Hello, This is the Doom Show, Hero Hero Go Show, Kill the Cast, Underwater Kaiju from Outer Space, Jerry Hates Action, Legion After Dark, Mental Health, Obsessive Cinema, Discourse, Pick 6 Movies, the podcast by The Cemetery, the podcast on Haunted Hill, the Psychosemantic Podcast, Rick Radio, House of Wax, Dude Looks Like the 80s, Rabbit and Red Radio, the Shadecast, Short Bus Cinema, 2 Drink Minimum Commentaries, the VD Clinic, Who Will Survive Horror Podcast, and Witch vs. the Doomsday Clock. With such a wide spread of shows, there is guaranteed to be a niche for you to fall in love with. Horror, politics, movies, books, sex, music, commentaries, health, video games, kaiju, action, news, comedy, and opinions that would most likely get you killed in some parts of the world. We are proud to bring you some of the best podcasting in the world. Check us out at www.legionpodcast.com, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and any other dark corner of the internet where podcasts can be found.